You know what, would it be better if you got, a circular over there? Just to get both of them? Sure. How many of you are there? Hey, Brittany.
How are you, ma'am?
How are good? So that ought to
this party started.
Good evening and welcome to the December 10th, 2019 regular board meeting of the Roswell Independent School District. It's nice to see so many people. I now call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Alan Getty.
Yes.
Ruben Sanchez.
Yes.
Kathleen Pittman.
Yes.
Donna Kirk.
Yes.
James Edwards.
Yeah.
Pledge of Allegiance by Del Norte.
No, military.
Military Heights.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Wow. I thought green was Del Norte. Spread out so you can all get up here.
They have a kindness pledge that they usually do.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Okay, go ahead.
I pledge to myself on this very day to try to be kind in every way. To every person, big or small, I will help them if they fall. When I love myself and others too, that is the best that I can do.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
They're
you.
gonna
Guys, come on up.
Come on up.
Good work. I like the t-shirts. How are you? You did great.
Awesome, thank you. Good job. Thank you. Awesome. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Awesome job. Awesome job. Nice. Awesome job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Keep it up.
Please remain standing.
President Getty, Superintendent McElroy, board members and community leaders that are here present with us today, thank you for the opportunity to come before you as we celebrate December, a special time of the year, anticipating Christmas time, family get-togethers, foods, family recipes and traditions, and most importantly, anticipating the promise of what a child represents, both in our personal faith and in our district. When we look at our babies and our children, we see the promise of not only what they are, but what they will be. I was reminded of this last night when we took my son in celebration of his birthday to watch Mr. Rogers. It was so wholesome and inspirational. On the surface, Mr. Rogers is a simple fella, but he addresses topics that are just epic, topics faced by many, topics that our children face, dealing with emotions, fears, divorce, death, and that's our work in education. Our teachers not only address the basic content areas, reading, math, science, we nurture the whole child, their socio-emotional growth, and the promise of not only who they are, but who they will be. And that's our work in education. So our teachers yesterday may have taught a future judge about sharing and playing fair. Today, they may have taught a future soldier about patriotism and love for our country. Tomorrow, they may teach a future medic, nurse, or doctor about empathy and caring for others. That is a day in the life of a teacher and the impact that he or she has on the promise of tomorrow for a child. And yes, they may have even instilled a sense of service to others, such as future school board members, in what Mr. Roger refers to as our neighborhood, where he would say we could all use a little kindness. So I commend the board members, both our outgoing members and our incoming board members, for stepping up to play such an important role in servant leadership to ensure excellence in education that supports each child in our part of living up to that promise. Thank you for your service to our neighborhood and community. That belief and service that comes from our core takes faith. Faith in our children, in our teachers, our administrators, and our educational system. A commitment to servant leadership to build that neighborhood rooted in faith, trust, hope, and love. Please join me in a moment of appreciation as we contemplate the type of educational neighborhood we want to create in our district and the type of community that we want to build that will support each child to live up to that promise.
Thank you for that,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Trujillo.
I'd like to leave you, if I may, with just a few stories that have some deep meaning. So once the neighborhood got together to pray for rain. On the day of the prayer, all people gathered, but only one boy came with an umbrella. That is faith. We see suffering and hardship in the world, yet we get married and we have children. That is love. When you toss babies in the air, they laugh because they know you will catch them. That is trust. Every night we go to sleep without any assurance that we will have it tomorrow, yet we set our alarm. That is hope. We plan big things for tomorrow while having no knowledge of the future. That is confidence. As you go forth in your planning for that future full of promise, I leave you with one more. An old man wore a shirt with the caption, "I am sweet 16 with 64 years of experience." That is attitude. Thank you.
Great job, Maria. Great job.
Go ahead. Mr. Henley. Go ahead and be seated. I think we can sit down for this.
And we just want to welcome our Roswell High School Cayettes and Roadrunner Choral group and thank them for coming and sharing their talents with us. Thank you, Mr. Henley.
Dr. McElroy, School Board, thanks for inviting us to come sing for you tonight. We're going to sing a song of the season with this really long and elaborate title called Ding a Ding a Ding.
Ding a ding a ding.
Merrily on high in the bells ring, merrily the heavens sing. Merrily on high in the bells ring, all the earth they ding dong ding. Ding dong ding 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 dong ding dong ding 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 ding. Ding dong ding 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 dong ding dong ding 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 dong. Ding a ding a ding a ding a ding. 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 Ding dong ding dong. Ding a ding a ding. Ding dong ding dong. Ding a ding a ding. Ding a ding a ding. Ding dong. Ding dong ding 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 dong ding dong ding ding ding. Ding dong ding 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 dong ding dong ding ding dong. Merrily on high in the bells ring, merrily the heavens sing. Merrily on high in the bells ring, all the earth they ding dong ding. Merrily on high in the bells ring, merrily the heavens sing. Merrily on high in the bells ring, all the earth they ding dong ding. All the earth they ding dong ding, ding dong ding. Ding dong 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 ding a ding a ding a ding a ding dong. Merrily they ding dong ding. Ding a 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 dear
Nice job. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks for your hard work. Awesome job. Awesome. Thank you. Love your hair. Awesome. Great job. Awesome. Awesome job. How impressive.
Thanks for having the evening, sir.
You know,
And then one of our students, Matthew Costa, wants to say something.
Oh, God.
On behalf of the Roswell High Choir, would like to thank the school board for letting us to go to Corpus Christi in April. So thank you. Y'all do a lot for us.
All right.
Cool kid.
Well, we'll continue while they're heading out. Are there any modifications to the agenda?
Mr. President, there are no modifications to the agenda.
Good. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion made by Ms. Kirk. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a second made by Mr. Sanchez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. So let's begin with some recognition.
Let's.
All right. Coach, got your guys?
Do we want us to move down there now?
If y'all
Yeah.
could, please.
Guys, let's move down
Okay.
there. It'll make it a little bit easier.
Hey, Alabama's turned off.
I couldn't believe that.
I know. It's pretty pathetic, isn't it?
Yes, please.
You're gonna get a lot of handshakes in there.
All right, Roswell, it is my pleasure to introduce to you your two-time back-to-back state champion, Roswell Coyotes. I'd like to introduce to you number 2, Josiah Reese. Number 5, Xavier Gonzalez. Number 6, Freddie Anaya. Number 11, Jaden Contreras. Number 13, Armando Silva. Number 15, Zeke Gonzalez. Number 24, Esteban de la Fuente. Number 30, Gus Areola. Number 32, Jaden Valenzuela. Number 36, Caden Graham. Number 42, Zach Buckmister. Number 50, James Pettis. Number 54, Uriel Para. Number 61, Braden Paz. Number 66, Ariel Para. Number 70, Zane Edwards. Number 73, Omar Makas. Number 78, Cordell Palmer. Number 3, Dominic Nava. Number 4, Marcus Pineda. Number 12, Jose Ruiz. Number 14, David Gomez. Number 17, Sebastian Bonilla. Number 22, Joel Sanchez. Number 23, Angel Caballero. Number 24, Marino Salinas. Number 33, Roderick Sadillo. Number 34, Joe Garcia. Number 35, Damian Ayala. Number 40, Nathan Sanchez. Number 51, Dominic Sanchez. Number 52, Julio Garcia. Number 62, Isaac Hurst. Number 65, Elijah Flores. Number 74, Josh Castillo. Number 76, Nate Vasquez. Number 77, Gabriel Garcia. 79, Xavier Lomeli. Number 6, Eric Brock. Number 16, Sabino Lazos. Is that right? Did I say that right? Number 20, Richard Ariola. Number 25, Marco Tarin. Number 31, Miguel Cabradas. I didn't say that one right. 41, Jonah Gamboa. 60, Ishmael Galvan. 61, Isaiah Ruiz. 63, Dylan Ross. Number 64, Nathaniel Martinez. Number 67, Jeff Irish. 68, Juan Carlos Alvarez. 71, Gonzalo Garcia. Number 75, Trenton Johnson. Then we have Marlet Garcia, Ethan Fitz, Kevin Bradley, and our coaches, Coach Jeff Lynn, our head coach. We have OG David Lynn, and we have Jordan Rodriguez. We just want to say that you are the pride of Roswell again. And thank you, boys, for your and young ladies who help, for your dedication, for your example that you set for your classmates and your peers, for that you set for all of our town in your perseverance, your dedication, your courage under fire, your determination, your ability to set a goal and to attain that goal. Well done. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Every tall person.
Yeah, please do. We'd love for you to. So in case any of you are wondering, that'll probably clear the parking lot out a little bit. And I've asked Coach Lynn to come say a few words for us, please.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what to say, but you know, I got asked after the state game, you know, what I was most proud of, and you know, to go 13-0 and to win a state championship and to go back-to-back, that's a big deal. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of this group is the way they treat one another and the way they treat their fellow classmates, and you know, just the young men that they've grown into, and it's a big deal, and I'm awfully proud of this group. So, you know, I just want to say thanks to Coach Cooper. He helps us out a lot. I want to say thanks to Coach Trujillo and all my coaches. You know, somebody asked me the other day, you know, what's it feel like to be Coach of the Year? Coach of the Year is not, like, I didn't do that by myself. You got great players and you got great assistants, and you know, they have a lot more to do with that than I do. But just really grateful and really humbled to be up here speaking to you guys, and just super proud of my team and super proud of Roswell High and the work we're doing down there. So again, thank you, board, and thank the superintendent and, you know, all those involved. It's been a special year and a special run, and hopefully, you know, I'm not going to say hopefully, we're going to keep it going. So.
Amen.
Can we say something?
You bet.
Coach Lynn, I just want to personally thank you guys too. One thing that always humbles my heart about Coach Lynn is when it came to the state championship. You know, they asked Coach Lynn, "What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?" And what Coach Lynn came back and said, "It's about me. It's not just about me. It's about my team. It's about me and everybody that I surround myself with." This right here, these two men standing up right now, that's a living example of what this community should be. You've got a father and a son here that are teaching your kids not only how to play football, but also how to carry character for the rest of their lives. So thank you for being that example, both Coach Lynn's, and look forward to many more with you. Thank you for everything that you do.
How precious.
Okay, we'll just move on. We have an informational item coming up.
Yes. So I have some students and some principals here to visit with you just briefly about the Avid program. And so I'm going to let them take it away.
So I just got nominated to talk, so
Thank you.
thank you, school board. Dr. McElroy. So we're here to talk about Avid. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the semester, about what it was and how it impacted some of the students after a few weeks. Today, we have more students coming in to talk a little bit more about Avid. We know that critical thinking and all the skills that are necessary to succeed in school is what they are based off of the program, but also teaching about tenacity and grit and perseverance and all the things we need to be successful. So we have Mountain View, Sierra, and Mesa Middle School here to do a skit and then talk a little bit about Avid.
Do a skit. Awesome.
Hello. Oh,
Pull it out so we can hear you. There,
sorry.
There you go.
Hello, my name is Jessa, and the college that I plan to attend in my future is Texas Tech.
Nice.
What Avid has really done for me as a student at Mountain View is it has helped me be organized in a lot of my classes. It has really helped me take notes through every class that I need help with. It has really helped me bring my grades up. The program it really helps with kids that struggle in school. It teaches you how to be organized and how to do certain things, and it just really helps. It helps you through the school. It can help you bring your grades up, and it has helped me a lot. It has helped me really focus in my class, and it has helped me stay focused. With everything that we... Okay, just kidding. Bye.
How adorable.
Hi, my name is Sarai. I plan on attending Texas Tech University, and Avid has helped me throughout. Avid has helped me with my note-taking skills and my overall confidence in the classroom.
What school is she going to?
Texas Tech.
That's Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them.
Tech.
I wonder if they pay.
You're going to get it right up close to the mic, all right?
Thank you. Don't be shy. There you go.
Okay.
You tell.
My name is. Oh. My name is Jesus Diando, and I plan to go to UCLA.
Good for you.
Awesome.
Nice.
And Avid has helped me by being more organized, my writing skills, and just being overall more confident.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yay.
How you doing? My name is Eric Cannon. I'm the Avid coordinator and Avid teacher at Sierra Middle School. I just want to introduce a couple of my students here. They're nervous enough, so they probably won't say too much, but we'll get over the stage fright soon.
Hello, my name is Kylie Williams. I'm going to University of Michigan, or Michigan University. Avid has helped me a lot through a lot of things. It's helped me get my grades up better. It's going to help me get into college a lot.
Good.
It's going to help a lot. And that's it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amelia Witt, and I'm planning on going to Prairie View University. Avid has helped me get through dyslexia.
Good.
Awesome.
Excellent. Awesome.
My name is Adrian Barraza, and I'm planning on going to Oregon University. And Avid has helped me raise my grades, be a better person in general, and just be more, just help me make more friends. And Avid's going to help me get to the university that I've always wanted to go.
Thank you. Nice.
Hello, my name is Marissa Vale, and I plan to go to New York University. And Avid will benefit me and to help me with my time management skills and my note taking. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Janessa Velasco, and I would like to go to UCLA. Avid will help me be a second-generation college graduate.
Good.
Hello, my name is Caroline Tanayo. I'm in 8th grade Avid, and Avid's gonna help me in a way where I could be more organized and remember what I'm gonna do and what I'm gonna learn and how to do it.
Awesome.
And I'm going to University of New Mexico.
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Mia Kerwick. I am in 8th grade Avid. I plan on going to University of New Mexico. Avid is going to help me get into my future college by helping me with my note taking, and it's been helping me with my grades and helping me understand my subjects better.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Estrada, and I'm going to present to you Mesa Middle School's Avid, and they have a little skit that they've put together they'd like to show for you guys. So if you guys could sit down just for a moment. Thank you.
While these guys are taking the stage, I wanted to recognize our Avid coordinator at Mountain View Middle School, Joe. Where did you go? Joe Manzanatos, where are you? He's trying to duck out, so that's Mountain View's Avid coordinator.
Hey, Joe.
My name is David Guevara. I'd like to be a soccer player or a doctor.
Hi, my name is Alex Castro, and I would like to be a marketer.
Hi, my name is Danny Petty, and I'd like to be a business owner.
Hi, my name is Mario Zavala, and I want to be an astrophysicist.
Whoa.
My name is Josiah Alfaro, and I want to be a U.S. Marine.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Isabella Garcia, and I want to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Ooh.
Hi, my name is Genevieve Bayan, and I would like to be a nurse practitioner.
Nice. No teachers.
Hi, welcome to Mesa Middle School. Our special today. Hi, welcome to Mesa Middle School. Our special today is Avid.
What's Avid?
Avid is our college readiness course with a side of focus notes and a dessert of straight A's.
I want to Mexico State. Can I get that? Can I get yellow, please? And me a little Gothic sample. Instead of focus notes, can I have advancement via individual determination?
I'm a first generation college student.
Oh, me too.
Today, our Avid special comes with our limited edition Wicker drink, which includes our top 5 drinks: writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading.
Yes, we'll take that, and that'll be all.
Take debit or college credit.
Surprise, you're the 1,000th customer. Your meal is paid for, and you get 4 full ride scholarships to any college of your choice. Thank you.
Yay. That's awesome.
I hate to put them on the spot too, but what do you guys want to do when you grow up?
Yeah.
We want to hear.
I want to be a doctor.
Doctor.
Nice.
I want to be an animator.
Animator, awesome.
I want to play in the NFL.
NFL,
Oh.
good.
I want to be a hairstylist.
Awesome.
I still have to discover.
Cool.
What about our Mountain View? Or we have
I want to be a pharmacist.
pharmacist,
I want to be a lawyer.
lawyer.
I want to be a pediatrician.
Awesome.
Event.
Love it. Awesome.
We have one more,
Right in the
back
second
there.
row there.
Yay!
Awesome. Great. Thank you guys.
Unfortunately, no future teachers. Nice job. Good job. Congratulations. Thank you. Good luck. Good luck. Congratulations. Good job.
And happy birthday. And there you are. We're so proud of you. So proud.
Congratulations. Awesome job. Good job. Good job.
I know.
Congratulations.
The whole jug. I tell you, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to wait for.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
And he's doing a good job with those kids over there.
All right, well, we will continue on. We will now have inquiries and general comments. I already know the answer to this, but Ms. Whitcamp, has anybody requested to speak?
Yes, sir, they have.
I'm a little tongue-tied. All right, so our public forum ground rules are this. Please listen and speak with respect. No uncivil conduct will be permitted. Please do not discuss any specific student who is not your own. Please do not discuss confidential personnel matters, including those of a disciplinary nature, regarding any RISD employee. This should be discussed with the superintendent or the employee's supervisor. Please self-monitor and observe the 3-minute time limit. You may be given a 30-second warning when your time is almost up. If needed to accommodate a large number of speakers and maintain a reasonable meeting schedule, the time limit for all speakers may be shortened. No sharing of time is permitted. Public commentary and dialogue is only guaranteed during the public forum, not throughout the meeting. Please search for answers on common ground. You may speak on any topic, whether it is on the agenda or not. Your input will be taken into consideration. Please be advised that the board may discuss your issue during the meeting, but by law, the board cannot take action on items that are not on the agenda. For the safety of yourself and others, signs and placards are not permitted in the boardroom. However, you are invited to express your concerns during public forum or submit your concerns to the board in writing.
First of all, I have Don Willman. Jeffrey Willman.
Is he out? Do we want to check and see if he's out there?
Jeffrey Woman.
May have just gotten tired of waiting.
Okay.
Oh, they couldn't park.
Oh, okay. All right. No?
Alberto Cruz.
Good evening, Board President Mr. Getty, board members, Superintendent McElroy. Okay, my name is Albert Cruz. I'm the head custodian at Mesa Middle School. I would like to address 2 items with you tonight. Number 1, I would like to thank you, board, for moving promptly, having a special meeting on our approving ratification of the CWA contract. I would like to let you know we did receive our 7% raise today, in today's pay period. So thanks again. Number 2, I would like to address a statement made by Superintendent McElroy to the Roswell Daily Record, November the 15th, 2019. She stated, there were negotiations and a 6% salary increases. 2 different times were not ratified by the CWA. I would like to correct this statement for the record. The fact is, there was only 1 ratification meeting held to vote on the proposed contract, not 2 as stated. Yes, we did have 1 meeting to discuss a counter offer, but no ratification vote was taken at that meeting. I feel this is important to clarify because the CWA did not refuse the district offer twice. Board members, again, thank you for your support. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Marissa Moreno.
Hello. I'm here today because I am a parent that has a child in the school district with special needs and behaviors. Please understand that with support, we are trying to figure out a plan. This is for anyone with a child who does not have special needs. What do you think when you hear the term special needs? Do you think that it's a child who needs help in basic education? Do you think it's a child who can't do what others can do? Do you think it's an excuse for a child who doesn't want to learn? What do you think when you see a child act out? When you see a child's behaviors at school, do you think, man, that kid is bad? Or what are the parents teaching that kid? Or what about that kid just needs a spanking? Well, if you have thought any of those things when you hear special needs or see these behaviors, you are wrong. Your thought and judgment are normalizing these children that are crying for help. The truth is, we are all normal. We all just have different needs. These children didn't choose to have needs, so why should you try to choose where they should learn? Why should you choose to voice your judgment on a situation you personally know nothing about, other than what you hear or see? Stop and think for a minute. What if that was your child with all this judgment passed upon him or her? But don't for a second think, oh, I wouldn't let my child act like that. Because I can promise you, I don't sit around and allow my child to have these behaviors. I don't sit around and not make sure that my child is not learning. I saw a quote recently that said, no one notices when you are being provoked. They only notice when you retaliate. See, we are all quick to judge without thinking or even knowing that there is something deeper than special needs or behaviors. But in all reality, they just need help. If you work in the district and can't handle what you signed up for, then what are you really doing? You're counting out what you counted in for, giving up on what you've studied for, leaving the special needs community feeling left out. Kids in special education have the same amount of rights as kids in general education. They deserve the same free and appropriate public education, and they have the right to all schools just as any other child. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ana Maria Bensor.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ana Maria Bensor. I'm here to speak on behalf of the special education. It was brought to my attention that there were some parents against students being in the school. And I'm here to actually speak on behalf of my younger brother, Julian Venzor, who goes to Mesa Middle School. So whenever I heard about this, my heart immediately dropped, and I felt fear, and I was upset. I thought about the way my brother gets excited every morning when the bus is here for him, and the times that he would come home, and he would express as best as he could what he has learned in school and what he has actually, thought about processing throughout the day. I thought about all the advances that he has made through his school years, and even though it sounds silly to some, he has made some wonderful progress that is so big to us. Throughout the years, I have watched him get excluded by other children. I have also watched him at stores when he has behavioral issues, and of course, we are judged by many. I have watched him be afraid of going to stores because of a sensory problem, but school is a place where he is understood, where he knows that he is not judged, and where he's actually excited to go to. The fact that this was even brought up is something that brought a lot of fear and despair to my heart, as well as I know that it did to other parents, because I thought about how the right to education was basically going to be taken away from them. The Public Law 94-142 that was passed in 1975 requires all public schools that accept federal funding to provide free education to each child with a disability in every state. And it is in the bottom of my heart that I come here today and I beg that this law remains in place for the well-being of our children, who are said to be our future. Taking their education is something that I do not wish to stand and watch. There is a story of a man, his name was Alan, this is from the late 1940s. He was dropped off at a retardation institution, and by the age of 35, he had become blind. It was observed that he would hit his calloused face and he would rock back and forth. He was assessed for the very first time, and he was actually found to have average intelligence. He learned that his own self-injurious behavior could cause his total loss of vision. My brother does the same, and through school, he is learning that it is self-injury. If it wasn't for the IDEA test screening, my brother would have repeated Alan's story, just the way that tens of thousands of individuals with disabilities have. Before making any decisions that may impact not only their education but their future, I beg that you reconsider. Thank you.
Lorraine Branch. Yep. Rebecca Kobos.
Good evening, Rebecca Kobos. I am a parent of an individual with disabilities. I'm also the Parents Reaching Out lead parent volunteer. I do sit on, I'm the past chair for New Mexico State IDEA Advisory Council for the state of New Mexico. And I'm also the deputy director for Eastern New Mexico University Roswell for Special Services. So with that, I want to be a community member and inform the community as well as the school board, as the other individual was saying, that all students have a right that I fought for in the military for a free and appropriate education. And with that, I want to say that many parents are concerned about students' behavior. And it's important to consider the whole child, including the educational environment. To talk about the behavior one observes only speaks to a small portion of the overall issue. What about consistent quality instruction and staff following the student's IEP? People don't get to see these underlying issues. So before we are quick to judge, let's talk about our district's ability to provide differential instruction and oversight of self-contained programs, or the LINK programs as they are now renamed. I encourage the community who is concerned with these behaviors to take the time to volunteer and support these programs that help children with mental health issues and learning disabilities. If isolating these issues to out of sight, out of mind approaches, then how is the village raising the child? I mean, I speak here today because my son has a disability and has went through Roswell Independent School District. The village did help my son be a participating member of Roswell, New Mexico. He is a successful graduate of our special services program at the university. You know, why are we not seeing more graduates? Why are we not putting out more community members out there to be participating members of New Mexico? What are we doing as a school board so that we can have the best special education program here in New Mexico? There has been strategic changes from administration staff that have better placed individuals who are better qualified to be able to have inclusive education for individuals with disabilities. And I applaud you for that. Thank you.
Renee Fitz.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Renee Fitz, and I am a parent of a special needs education student in our school district. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's been easy all these years. I've had a lot of advocating, fighting with the district for the services for my child, but I feel like over the years we've made progress. And to hear the news that we were going to be possibly considering other types of self-containment, reducing the amount of inclusion for our kids really concerns me. My son is going to be a senior next year, and he has survived high school simply by inclusion opportunities he's been given, one being a part of the Roswell Coyote football team. That's made him survive in school. The other parts are his team members, his IEP team, who have come together and provided services for him and really thought outside the box. I mean, I think of Mr. Boggs, his English teacher, who has emailed me, telling me stories about what he's doing, and he's going to have him do creative writing on a sports caster rather than Shakespeare, which works well for my son. And so thinking outside the box, providing those services to my kids, my son, I want that to be able to be available to all kids. Every student in this education system is supposed to have a free and appropriate public education. And my son deserves that as well as any other special needs students. I know that there's behaviors. I know that there's a demand and tax on teachers, and we need that service for our kids because our kids are going to be productive members of society. We've had to learn through working with the team members of this district on how to advocate for our children, and that cannot stop. They need to be included, free and appropriate public education, and it cannot stop, and it should not stop. Thank you.
Christina Beltran Bravo.
Good evening. I'm just here as a parent to say that I am for inclusiveness. I have 5, soon to be 6 children through the RISD, one who's graduated, one who's graduated a year early, one who is always recognized for character, and one who is achieving high academic success. But all these things we want from our children, right? But while functioning, they were able to achieve these successes all while functioning with anxiety, depression, being oppositional, and having ADHD and learning limitations. There is no difference in students with disabilities. They only require that our educational service is 110%. With the right support, students with disabilities thrive like any other student. If we use the Special Olympics as an example, we see a person with special needs can still achieve great things, and it also richens their quality of life. By alienating students, not being inclusive, students with disabilities, we affect them adversely by solidifying their beliefs that they don't belong. But they do belong. There is nothing that makes a normal child better than a child with special needs. In fact, your child, a normal child, may be more socially adept, but it may be my child who helps your child get an A in math. We as adults know the importance of diversity, but here we are fighting against it. By keeping the inclusive setting, we are giving the children, yours and mine, the opportunity to learn from each other. A valuable teaching tool for learning behavior etiquette and tolerance on both sides. Not to mention empathy and kindness. Understand that if my child's supports also help your child learn better, then we enrich your child's learning experience as well. As a parent, I refuse to accept that my child doesn't deserve the same education yours receives. Also, as a parent, I could not accept the same for your child. The argument is not whether we should separate special needs and normal children, but instead, are we doing enough to support the learning system? Because if we are, then we are changing the community and the futures for all children. My child this year has come a long way. When she started, she was, doing all the things that special needs, but through working with the system and, working together, she is now functioning and is a leader in her classroom. So I would like to leave you with a quote for my special needs child is, I'm raising a child to run the world. I just have to survive raising her first. Thank you.
Larry Conley?
I think I'm the oldest person in this room. So hopefully you'll grant me a few minutes. I wrote something down just so I wouldn't forget it. I'd like to say, Mr. Cruz, I want to thank him for coming up and speaking. He took half of my speech, but I would like the record to show that at the last school board meeting in November, there was a gentleman who was quite adamant, didn't like the taking back of the 6% raise. We all know that a few weeks later it became 7%, and everybody, I think, was happy. And I want that to be on the record so that 20 years from now, we know it. Thank you. Also, I'd like to thank Ruben Sanchez, Dr. Kathleen Pittman for their service to the board. We appreciate it. And Hilda Sanchez, and is Hope here?
Yes.
There she is. Thank you for standing up for election, and we wish you the best. Thank you. And there's one other thing. Hopefully we're back to normal, but the year 2020 is the year of the census. And I better look at this way. I'm non-elected, non-appointed, but self-appointed by Marcus Nava, the chairman of the census committee, to be his booking agent. So I hope you will all look forward to 2020 being counted. We all want to be. That's right. We want to hit 50,000 in Roswell and more. Everybody get counted. Thank you.
Thank
you. Happy holidays.
Mr. President, if I may, I want to say thank you to those of you who have spoken tonight, especially those of you who are parents of special needs children. I want to assure you that the Roswell Schools has every intention of continuing to advocate on behalf of your children, your siblings, to the fullest extent we possibly can. We will never withdraw our support from you or for your kids. We have amazing people who are working on their behalf. And I want to thank Shelley Bruns, who is our Director of Special Education, Sonia Lawson, who started this work previously when she was the Director of Special Education, all of our IEP specialists, our special ed teachers, and all of the other teachers that work to make sure that your kids get the kind of education you dream for them to have. We only want to do better. That's That is our promise to you. We will continue to get better and better, and we will not exclude your children in any way, shape, or form. And I just want to assure you of that. I hear your parents' heart, and it touches me. I'm just going to say. And your kids matter, and they matter deeply. And we will never, ever do anything to prevent them from getting the education they deserve, that they desire, and that they attain to. And I just want that, I want you to understand that that is our commitment to you, because I appreciate that parent that came here tonight, all of you, to talk about your kids and to open yourselves up for that and be vulnerable in front of the public about the experiences that you have. And I applaud you, I thank you, and I pray for you. I loved your comment at the end. I told my oldest son, who didn't, he was special in a special sort of way, that when my oldest grandson was born, that it was worth letting him live for. So I appreciate that. But thank you so much for coming and sharing your heart with us, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, well, let's move on to approval of minutes.
I do recommend approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of
Should've
November
given you
12th.
a little bit more time.
2019, I now got a little teary, and the special board meeting of November 19th, 2019.
Are there any corrections or deletions to the minutes? If not, may I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion made by Ms. Kirk, second made by Mr. Sanchez. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. The consent agenda.
So, Mr. President, I do recommend approval of the consent agenda, which includes approving the November bills, authorizing the December bills, and approving the December bars.
Is there any discussion? If not, may I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion made by Dr. Kathleen Pittman, and a second made by Mr. Edwards. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. We have some action items are next on the agenda. First, we have Military Heights Student Council field trip to Lubbock, Texas on May 15th, 2020.
So, Mr. President, members of the board, this is, I do recommend approval of this out-of-state travel. This, and they're going to be able to speak to it so much better, but they will be attending and going on a tour of the Texas Tech campus. You might want to take some of these Avid kids with you because they want to go to school there. And a robotics and engineering activity. And I'll let you ladies take it away.
My name is Casey Alpers. I'm a first grade teacher at Military Heights, and I'm one of the advisors for our student council group. The past 3 years, we've been trying to make it more student-led, where each month we do a community outreach. It's all what they want to do, and we kind of go with it, help them achieve that goal. They wanted to do a big field trip at the end, and we kind of felt that they've earned it. I'm sorry, we had our students prepare all this, but we didn't want them to sit this whole time. So each month they've done their community outreach. So we had reached out to Texas Tech because each Wednesday we do a college day where we promote different colleges to kind of get the kids excited for past experiences after high school. And we had reached out to Texas Tech and asked them if they'd be willing to do some type of Future Leaders of America, kind of do something to help promote that. And they said, sure, come on out. We'll just give you the field trip for free. All you have to do is get there. Well, we found out we had to raise $920 for them to go. And they have raised $820 all on their own. Wow. They've done car washes. They've worked really hard for it. So we still have one more fundraiser that they're doing and working for. because we didn't want to just get the money from the community. We wanted them to earn it. It's a big deal to go out of state. We didn't want them just to go ask people. So we wanted them to earn it. So they have earned it. They're almost there, but we feel this next one that they're going to do, they will achieve that goal. So we have our contact at Texas Tech in the College of Engineering, where they will go and do a Lego robotics engineering course. They will actually also do an engineering project with engineers at Texas Tech, and then they'll do a tour, and then they'll get to have lunch with the students. So we're really excited, but since it's out of state, we wanted to come and see if it was okay.
How many students?
I'm sorry, we have 22 students and 5 advisors.
And what grades?
3rd through 5th.
Excellent.
Yes, there's 2, there's a boy and a girl for each class, 3rd through 5th, and then we have 4 officers.
Excellent.
All 5th grade.
Very cool.
Excellent.
What's your next fundraiser? I hope it's a car wash because the Suburban needs washing and so does my car.
Oh, okay, so last year when we did the car wash, it was 34 degrees, so I'm just telling you, these kids worked for it. So they did good. The next one is kind of a little bit easier. We're doing a PJ day at school because it's only $100, so hopefully.
Might be worth the school visit that day.
You should. It's like December 19th.
It's the 19th.
19th.
Okay.
You guys watching the
Flamingo
movie?
Christmas pajamas, I do.
All right. Any other questions? This sounds like a great trip.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah. May I have a motion to approve?
I have one more question. This is your first time taking a group?
Yes.
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 Congratulations.
Yeah, very
Sorry.
cool.
I
No, it's
second
okay.
that. James first and I
Oh,
second.
you did? Okay, thanks, James. Okay, I have a motion made by Mr. Edwards, a second made by Ms. Kirk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried.
Congratulations.
Have fun in Lubbock.
Thank
So we'd like a report back. Ladies, we'd like a report back on how the trip went.
Oh, they're so excited. Like, they're so excited. We can't wait to see them.
So when you guys get back, if we could have them come again?
Yes.
And then we could have the students do it at the
Yeah.
beginning of the board meeting.
Right.
So,
That'd
okay.
be cool.
Thank you.
Cool, thanks. All right, we have a donation of an ice machine from Fairlife
Nice.
to RHS Soccer.
Yes, and so each year, Fairlife LLC receives a sum of money that they can donate to local organizations that are in need to help them better their programs, their properties, or their equipment. They met with a representative from the soccer program at Roswell High School and found out that this was a need. This is an ice machine that is valued at $3,750. It's going to be putting out some ice. And I do recommend approval of this donation to the Roswell High School soccer program.
All right, do we already have the plumbing in place to accommodate that machine and the electrical?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Getty, Dr. McElroy, members of the board. So we have had our lead maintenance man go out and check it. Everything is in place. It would be seated between the girls' locker room and the men's locker room in a closet that only the coaches can access with keys. And so only the coaches will be able to go in and fill up their ice chest before practice. And everything is in place for plumbing and electrical.
So how did you receive this donation?
Not entirely sure.
Oh.
The soccer coach just approached me about it, said, hey, can we get this set up, get the ice machine put in? We had to inform him they did have to get approval from the board first, and so that's why it's now come to your table.
Nice.
Cool.
Good.
All right, anything else? All right, this is cool. All right, okay, I have a motion made by Mr. Sanchez. Do I have a second?
So moved.
Second made by Ms. Kirk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. We now have reports. Dr. McElroy will start us off.
All right, so the first thing, I do have a discussion item for the board. And one of the things that the Public Education Department has mandated from the state is that we create a superintendent, they're calling it this, I'm not calling it this. They're calling it the Superintendent's Equity Council. We started a council last year and had a couple of meetings. Maria Trujillo and Andrea Nieto Walker led those conversations with that group of people. The state is now mandating that all 89 school districts and all charter schools have an equity council. The councils can be no larger than 15 members. They must have representation from school leadership, school teacher or school staff, students, parents, community members, and if you have a tribe or pueblo or whatever, you have to have a member of the tribe or pueblo on the council. Half of the membership must be representing the subgroups identified in the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit, which includes special needs students, economically disadvantaged, English learners, or tribal members. So half of them have to be part of that. So then each, and this is the tricky part. So these, if we have a 15-member council, a bare majority, so 8 of the members would agree to serve a 3-year term on this council. The remainder would serve a 4-year term on the council. The only expectations thus far that the state has put forward as required job responsibilities is to do a readiness assessment and then make recommendations to the school board and help create an equity plan for each district. Those things are expected to be completed by April of 2020, and then also then to be informative of creating a culturally and linguistically responsive framework for schools. My question for discussion to you is, how do you as the board, because this is, I mean, it's called superintendents, but it's for the district, so it is your responsibility. How would you like to go about identifying members for this board? Most districts are doing an application process. I have some samples from some other districts of the applications that they have posted. How do we want to go about advertising this? And then ultimately, how do you want to determine who's going to read those applications and determine who's going to be on that council? Because again, this is for the entire district. So this is not a superintendent decision. This is a board decision. And so I would welcome your input and ideas on this. The only thing we have to have done prior to the winter break is by December 16th, and thank you to Mona for helping me clarify this with PED at the NMSBA conference this last weekend. Originally, they wanted all this done by December 20th. They wanted the 15 members, the whole 9 yards, and that was just, they got blown up, let me just say, by both the school board members and the superintendents, because that just was an unrealistic expectation. But we do have to just identify who our district contact is. Well, we have a director for equity, so that is our district contact, so that's a pretty easy one. But beyond that, then, would the board like to direct that work? And so I just open this up for your discussion.
I like the application process for sure, and even doing an ad in the paper like we do like we had to do one time to appoint a school board member. Doing an ad in the paper saying, this is what we're looking for, this is what the requirement is, this is what, you know, and I think let people apply. And, I guess the big question is who would look at the applications, but.
Well, it would be us as a board.
All
We
of
would
us.
have to, but there are still some clarifications needed. Because when we were talking about it in our Board of Directors meeting, we need to come up with some policy on developing this committee. And so we really need some direction from PED to have those parameters and that was one of the things that was brought up. Okay, what does it look like? What are their job descriptions? We know they're going to serve 3 or 4 year terms, but can anybody commit to that for a council? Would anybody be willing to do that? So to answer that, Dr. McElroy, also, I would like us to put that process on the website too, have it on our district website so they can go there. My concern is getting equity and making sure that each of those, because there's 4 quadrants we have to meet. So make sure that each of those quadrants are represented, minus the one that we don't have, which
So-
is the nations.
So Moni, you want all of us to look at the applicants?
That would
Okay.
be equitable, but there is no policy. I'm telling you, there's nothing out there yet.
Well, we understand that, but they're still giving us deadlines, so.
Well, they've modified those.
Yeah, well, they might modify them again,
Yeah.
but we have to have an idea.
So
what
when's
we're
the no
gonna
later
do.
than date again?
So the 16th we have covered. The readiness assessment must be conducted by February 3rd.
Now, what has to happen by the 16th?
We just have to tell them who our district contact is.
Oh, we got that.
We've got that.
Good.
So, but the reading, the completion, by February 3rd, 2020, the completion of the required Martinez-Yazzie readiness assessment. And they're not gonna provide us with the template for the assessment until early January.
Okay.
I
Well,
would-
hoping Hilda ready or not.
Well, and that was one of our breakout sessions. In addition to hearing about it in our Board of Directors meetings, that was one of our breakout sessions that we attended at the conference. So we got a little more information. I think it's things we're already doing. It's just, we've got to put a label to it so
Formalize
PED
it.
recognizes it.
Could you do policy by February? You think
No.
that's a stretch? There's no
We
way?
don't have anything to
They're not-
follow. We
we-
don't
we-
know
we'd
what
have to have
do.
Well, and
So-
technically, PED doesn't have the authority to
Right.
require it because there's no mandate for them to make regulation and rule, yet they are. You know, this of course, and they feel a sense of urgency because the Judge Singleton did note that it must be done immediately, and so they're trying to get this stuff done before the end of the legislative session, and it's only a 30-day session, so they can demonstrate to the legislature that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But to me, what the superintendent's talked about is it's a transfer of liability from them to the
us.
districts.
So my thought too is, let's go ahead and get started. Let's get this in place. We can always ask for forgiveness later if it doesn't meet their requirement. We
You know,
can
I mean,
say,
I don't think anybody is going to deny, not a single person that I've spoken with over the last week and a half on this denies that it's not just a great idea and
Yeah.
long overdue. I think it's something that we're going to have to, it's uncharted territory. And that doesn't mean it shouldn't be done, though. It's time to be Christopher Columbus or to be Magellan,
Right.
or whoever who's charting those waters, because it needs to be done. I do agree with Ms. Kirk, though, that we need to get going on it. And so I just really would there's some great questions that ask, what experiences or expertise do you bring to enhance this work? Which groups, and I think one of these, this looks to me like kind of something off of SurveyMonkey, you know, where they could go in and answer these questions.
And that was asked during our directors' meeting, and they said yes,
Yeah,
it
and
was done on SurveyMonkey.
One of them is even asking, you know, would the applicant be willing to serve on a 3 or a 4-year term? And they can, you know, select the stakeholder group you represent, select the student group outlined in the lawsuit, one of the 4, that you would be representing on the council. I think some additional things we need to take into consideration is making sure that the council also is representative of our demographics in Roswell. And so I asked Lucy Morgan to pull our data today. I was very pleasantly surprised to see that we are at 10,708. I thought that's 500 more than I thought we were. I thought we were around 10,2. So I was really kind of excited about that. But so I think further on that, we need to make sure that the council members reflect demographically. So we have 70% Hispanic representation, 25% Caucasian, 2.5% Black, and 1.1% is everything else. That's Native American, Pacific Islander, Asian, and I think we need to make sure that we reflect that. I think also in the determination, we need to carefully look at making sure we get people from north, south, east, and west of Roswell. You know, considering our male-female I mean, there's a lot to make it representative of our community.
Equitable.
And equitable, exactly. And then Andre Nieto Walker and I then would be charged with leading that group. And I want to tell you that is kind of a scary proposition in and of itself. Hope and I had a conversation about this on our way to dinner last week at the conference. These are not easy conversations to conduct, and they're necessary, and that shouldn't make us shy away from them, but they're not. And so we will need to be very cautious in how we work, because this is a passionate topic for people. And especially for those groups who have never had a seat at the table. And that's the whole point, is to spread a banquet before them and invite them to the table. And so carefully constructing those conversations is going to be especially.
So the other thing I thought we could do too maybe is put out a robocall to all parents. And, you know, we hit a majority of our population through those robocalls just by parenting
to direct them to like the website or to the.
I would like, and I don't know if this is something we can do, but I would think as we get applications in, and I'm getting far ahead in the process, but I think one of the things that I would worry about is that those people that you talk about that don't have a seat at the table aren't going to fill that application out. So I want us to also be able to, and I don't know if we would have some way, whether our principals, vice principals, teachers would be able to go, you know what, this would be a really good person to sit on this council, and I don't think they're going to fill that application out without being like, here's the application, would you fill it out for?
Or sit down here with me and let's fill this out.
Yeah, just so that we can, because I think, you know, if we're honest, we know a lot of people in this town won't fill that application out, or haven't thought about it, or won't even think about it. So we're going to have to put that on the forefront. Also, one other thing, and would it be okay, because here's what I think is happening, and we're making a lot of decisions right now, and we're not making a whole lot of this. We're not voting on anything. But I would like to hear if there's any input from future board members. Would that be okay with everybody up here?
Absolutely.
Okay. Then,
So I know in some of the other districts, I like the idea of the application, so thank you for that. But I know districts that have done an application, they have had over 150 people apply for that 15-seat thing. I think it would be smart if somebody at district office could kind of vet those first. If somebody says they can't commit to 3 or 4 years, then we shouldn't be looking at the application yet. We should be looking at the applications that kind of check all the boxes to save time. Because I like all those ideas, but we're gonna get tons of applications in, and I like your outreach because we need to do that. And again, I think telling people what they're signing up for, aside from 3 to 4 years, how often are they gonna meet, what are the goals? I think we need to determine that as well.
right, absolutely.
Well, and also, I mean, students are supposed to have a seat at this table. And, you know, there's some juniors and seniors that aren't gonna be here in 3 and 4 years.
So what are the ramifications when it comes to who can be on it? Can it be teachers,
Yeah, so
personnel,
it is
parents, everybody?
required to be school leaders, school staff, students, parents, and community members.
Okay.
And I would feel like Andre Nieto Walker and I would be plenty from central office staff, so.
Well,
So-
and then, you know, also, I mean, I think if we hit all the main places, you know, newspaper, we're gonna hit the district website, you know, Facebook, if we, I mean, everybody's Facebook, and so, you know, just kinda get the word out there and then see, you know, when you're talking about trying to spread the love too, I don't know if it would be best to maybe, well, if there's 15 individuals, would it be an amount of individuals per school? Or would it be good, maybe even look at the districts that we have, like within the school board, like, you know, District 5, District 3, District 2, get a certain amount of individuals within those districts, so then you kind of spread the love, and then they actually have some input with those schools, because maybe, hopefully their kids, or they've been involved with those schools within the
If they
district.
meet the equity.
Right, but I mean, that's where you want to kind of spread the love, so if we kind of look around the district, maybe appointing, you know, 2 or 3 per, depending.
Well, I
where
mean,
you're
yeah,
headed.
because, I mean, we have 21 school sites, and we only
Right.
have 15
Right.
spots, so
Right.
not every school can be represented.
Right.
But we could have a parent that has kids at 3 different
Multiple
schools.
schools.
You know, and so that might help. It, kind of like what we did on the strategic planning task force. You know, we tried to spread that around all over, and not have any one school represented twice, and to get as many of the schools represented. So what I'll do is I will get Jerry Holm to create a newspaper ad that we will also run simultaneously on our webpage, our social media accounts, which we have 3 now, by the way, just FYI, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're twits now. And then Andrea Nieto Walker is working on compiling an application, kind of choosing some of the best. We want to keep it short and simple, but with some key questions, like some of those that I gave you a while ago.
And like
And get that posted
recommended.
perhaps by the end of the week, so we
Okay.
can start getting those in.
What's the deadline going to be to?
Well, and
apply?
that was my next question. We have, our next school board meeting is January the 14th. We also have a board retreat that you all agreed to, on the 17th. I would think that perhaps the, reading of the applications and the determination could be a special board meeting to have, I think, honestly, I'm gonna check and see, because I really don't wanna discuss qualifications of candidates in open meetings, so I'm gonna check, because that's personal information. I'm gonna check and see about the legality of being able to do that perhaps in an executive session, and then make the announcement, or make take the action in open session.
Okay.
Anyway, but we gotta get on it. If the needs or the readiness assessment is due February 3rd, we gotta get on it, right?
Superintendent, I just wanna make sure that people know what they're applying for.
Yes.
Before they're applying, so if they see the application
Absolutely.
on Friday and they ask questions, we need to be able to answer what the program actually looks like.
Well, I think probably what we need to do at the beginning of the application is to really give a complete description
And
of,
the board members have time to look at that before you send it out.
should be able to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just email it to us, yes.
Yeah.
I just have one question. Did you not already organize a committee?
We have we have a committee. It's not this committee, but we do have a committee that is working. In fact, Mr. Nava is sitting on that committee, helping us design an RFP to conduct the equity audit. That is a different committee. Now, some of those members may wish to apply to be part of this, and they're certainly welcome to do so.
Well, do you foresee, at this point, with this new development from the state, do you see the district hiring someone from outside to come in?
On the needs assessment?
On the
On
equity assessment?
the equity audit, I do see that. But I also learned, and I took a note of this, there are quite a number of organizations, agencies, whatever you want, entities within the state of New Mexico that's already doing that work.
Good.
So I was very glad. In fact, they said there was like 17. So I'm gonna get that list from PED and make sure that those people get a copy of our RFP.
Okay, so do we have a plan for the Equity Council?
So we're gonna create an application, create a job description, responsibilities, because beyond June, there are no job responsibilities that they've identified.
Right.
By the state, but there's a lot to do in the interim. But create a brief job description.
Okay.
Gonna put notices or create notices for the paper, do a robocall to notify people, put it on our website, where the link would be for the application, put it out on our social media sites, just to try to get the word out to as many people as possible.
I want to know, what's the outcome? What's the action? Where's all this
Ultimately, of
going?
the Equity Council, and that's a good question. I think
Hasn't been identified.
and it hasn't been identified. Ultimately, it is the state's way of saying we're doing something.
Yeah. And we
We don't know
argued-
what it is, but we're doing something.
And we argued within our meeting, it is basically what the school board's task is.
It is. It's
So
supposed to be
it's
very
Yeah, very
directed.
similar, so we will see.
And so really, the school board has the opportunity then to really determine what they want examined, what they want discussed, what task it's gonna take on, and so.
And obviously
And
this
that's
will,
TBD, to be determined.
right, all of this will develop as it goes. I was just thinking in my brain, that's where you think.
Sometimes.
Hopefully.
I really, I don't know.
Did you do?
Thank you.
I was thinking, what's gonna happen, hopefully the PED will have a process in place where 7 months down the road, somebody moves, and then we're down to 14. Are we gonna,
Well, and I think really and truly, I think you guys can determine replacement
Yeah.
of council members, just like students, you're gonna want some juniors and seniors, because they're gonna be pretty articulate. You're gonna have to replace them. And so I think it actually is absolutely up to you, to determine what your replacement process is gonna be. So, this is something that they're actually saying, guess what, boards of education? You have some authority to do this, and they're leaving it to you to do it.
Okay.
So.
Well, cool.
But we will get on this and get that out to you, a draft of that out to you just ASAP. And I appreciate all of your input on
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you, Hilda Hope. Thank y'all for
Thank you,
your
Hilda.
input
Thank you,
too.
Hope.
Yes.
So, moving on. Where am I? Where'd I go?
Still
I think
to
I'm
super-
moving
you were
on.
still on.
Okay, so
Equity.
reports. So the personnel report, Mr. Byrd left a copy of the personnel report at each of your respective seats, and we'll stand for questions if you have any.
So one of my final requests, I think we had that discussion last go-round when it came to our core teachers, and then what type of incentive can we add to try to fill those positions? Can we please, in the future, see what limitations we have and what we can do to get those core classes filled with quality teachers, because those are key to our kids' success and most importantly, preparing them for college.
Yeah, and that's something we'll have to work with the union on.
Right, and I mean, but
Mhm,
it just seems that it's
absolutely.
always the norm, but as long as we're trying.
Have you had time to read the report, the first part of the, it's a series that the Albuquerque Journal is doing on the impact of the oil and gas boom? And one of they centered on Carlsbad and the issues they've had with finding teachers. So it might be interesting for you guys to read that and just see, it's not about us. It is common. And they had comments about some of the people that they are hiring that made the Albuquerque Journal. So just a suggestion that y'all read that. It was Sunday's edition, I believe, and I'm sure it's online, but it was quite a large article. It's part 1 of 6.
What will, and I don't know if you'll be able to give me this answer, but what will this number look like in January after retirements and positions not being filled?
So currently, we're looking at probably 4 to 5 more just with retirements. But I do know that, principals, anytime I talk to you guys, they do a great job. If they lose one, they always have that fish on the hook that they're working to. So, right now we're kind of steady, but like you said, come, December or January, we're looking at about 4 or 5 more. But, we're still, beating down the doors. I mean, we've meeting with people all the time, talking about alt license. But again, it goes back to the principals that are out there, doing a great job of, recruiting within their own world.
Are we getting any relief from the retirement board?
Not yet, and that was one thing I was gonna bring up. We actually had some pretty, the ERB is being very headstrong.
Firm.
Is that a nice way to put that? Headstrong in their commitment to really restricting return to work. And
I don't get that.
it is, they are actually under pressure now, not just from us, but also from the Public Education Department. The secretary designate of Education is actually taking them to task on that as well, because what they're saying does not pan out in other states. And so they're repeatedly being asked to prove up their claim that it's an IRS rule that people wait 12 months.
No.
And they will not produce that evidence because they can't.
It's
It doesn't
not there.
exist. So I'm really curious to see, but they are under a lot of pressure right now. So,
Keep it on them.
That's
heck
right.
yeah.
Have to fix it.
So then you also, the next report is the financial report. You have the revenue and expenditures sheet. Just as a reminder, you received the cash balance report last month. That's done quarterly. So the next one will not be until January or February, Chad, is that? January. We'll have it at the January, will be the end of the next quarter that we'll have the next cash balance report for you. But any questions on the expenditures and revenues?
I'll add to one positive thing and kind of piggybacking on what Dr. Pittman was talking about on the whole deal with Carlsbad. I don't know if you guys read the paper on, I think it was Sunday? So what's kind of in my lap right now is that whole ordeal where Now the BLM has 84 parcels nominated for oil and gas leasing in Chavis and Roosevelt County. So I think we've all kind of heard of the boom's coming, the boom's coming. And what I kind of saw in the office, it's always just been steady, right? We really hadn't seen the big boom that Carlsbad had, but with this new oil and gas lease sale for May 2020, this is the first we've seen that much in a long time. And they actually nominated, from what I understand, over 200 parcels, but we had to pull some because of impacts to resources and stuff like that. So Chad and all of you guys, when it comes to revenue, I don't know what that means yet. I mean, I think we've always kind of guessed that, or saw the writing on the wall in Eddy and Lee counties. It's about 97 and 98% leased out, so there's really not too much left. So I think they're starting to move north in the Permian Basin, which is in Chavis and goes into Roosevelt counties too. So this is the first time we've seen it. So
That's
I don't
great
know
news.
if that means that it's
We'll
going
have
to
to
be
watch
the
the
big
rig
boom.
count.
Right,
Yeah.
but just because that was so substantial, you may start seeing the development. We've seen the slow progress north. It hasn't been the big, you know, so that's why I always told everybody it's always steady. But I'm hoping in the future, when it comes to oil and gas revenues, especially for Chavis County, you know, it's something that's going to be used localized here. I mean, I'm hoping that it continues. So it's looking good. I don't want to end up like Carlsbad.
No. Right,
No.
right.
But it would be nice to just kind of have this steady increase and
If I could just dovetail into that real quick.
Yeah.
So the nice thing about having those oil and gas generated revenues here in Chavis County is much like ad valorem taxes or property taxes. There are taxes assessed on that within the county. So it goes both to the state, but it also goes locally within the county.
Right.
So we would see that increase our tax. And so part of what we're able to do with school construction is we're limited by the state constitution to 6% of the assessed value of property
It increases
and
our
generating
assessed value.
tax generating revenue in Chavis County. So that could help tremendously, actually.
But also to piggyback off of what you said, Ruben, we're well aware that it's moving to Chavis County. I also sit on a zoning commission, Mr. Conley and I do, and we are already starting to zone for the man camps in the county and for RV parks. So we're well ahead of that, so we will not look like Carlsbad or Artesia. We want to nip that in the bud, so.
Well, and that
we're
is
working
good
on that.
news. Yeah, that is good news. Last night, we were at the housing summit hosted by the city. And, you know, one of the realtors, you know, and he was self-proposed, he said very conservative, you know, said, you're not hearing any of the old people talk about all of this stuff, so don't count your chickens. So I'm very glad to hear what you just had said, because I have been kind of counting my chickens a little bit, and I hope it's looking for some eggs. So, I am glad to hear a little bit more of a confirmation that.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, and it's not a promise, but, you know, 'cause these could go to lease and not get developed. But most of the time, when it comes to that, you have some interest. So we shall see. I just hope I just see the steady increase to where
Right.
every year you see more money in the coffers, and,
Yeah.
you know, we can.
Well, again, that
we can
assessed
compete with
value,
Carlsbad. It's a good
assessed
sign.
value of our
Right.
district,
So,
that's always a
yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm always a phone call away, so I'll be calling you guys if I hear anything else.
Cool, good deal. The next items I wanted to talk to you about are some opportunities that we are exploring with some partnerships with the Cooperative Education Services, with other districts, and with the University of the Southwest. We have a need. We had quite a number of our teachers that were able to get their TESOL endorsements through a grant that was available at Eastern New Mexico University. That grant does not exist anymore. And so looking for a cost-effective way for the teachers to expand the number of teachers that have TESOL endorsement, but also gifted endorsement. You know, I think the goal would be that all of our teachers have those endorsements, because here's the deal, they're not that terribly different. It's differentiation, and they're just good, it's just good teaching. It's just good schooling. And we would love for all of our teachers to be able to have that. But right now, the programs are overly burdensome to our working teachers. And so the plan is to meet at the beginning of January. In fact, I'm going to have to cancel my January 17th meeting to do the retreat. But we are actively working with a group of educators from around the state to create that coursework so that it is meaningful to our teachers in their immediate classroom. We'll have to take that information and take those courses to the Standards Commission. Our goal is for April, so we can get this started for next year so that a teacher can actually complete the coursework for those endorsements in district in a calendar year and get those endorsements. Also, CES proposed the idea of creating an elementary math endorsement so many of our elementary teachers are exceptional reading teachers. They get the whole reading thing. They're not as confident in teaching math, and so they have a difficult time taking math, conceptual math, and creating centers and different ways for kids to learn. And so the thought behind that is, let's teach them how to do that, and let's help them get that background knowledge and skills, because math is where we really suffer the most across the state of New Mexico is our math proficiency rates. And so they are also going to be exploring that particular endorsement area. Don't know exactly how we want to make that work in our district yet, but I just wanted to make you aware of that. Also became aware of today that there may be a possibility, and I almost hate to say this in public, but a possibility that all of our pre-K teachers may be required to get a special education endorsement.
Wow.
And if that's the case, then let me tell you something, folks. We're gonna have a steep training curve for those people. So I do believe that they already have. I think CES already has the coursework and approval process for people to get their special education endorsement, and so that would be something else that we would bring in and piggyback in.
Any grandfather clauses in that?
No. No, their
imagine a
their
22-year
argument
veteran.
is that all of those teachers carry a caseload, and if you carry a caseload, you must have an endorsement. And I learned that today and nearly choked.
Then we need to look at that, because some of our veteran teachers at 25, 30 years are not going to want to go back and get an endorsement. They've been doing that successfully for that long. It's, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's just pre-K, isn't it?
Pre-K. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because our, the elementary people, the ones coming out now are dual endorsed, and they're teaching K 8. So, that's helpful for them.
Yeah, they're just saying that the early childhood endorsement isn't enough.
Well, the early childhood education programs in this state have been highly regulated, unlike the elementary ed. The ECE, the organization has controlled that, and they're going to have to come up with the solution, because they have even come down to tell professors which textbook they have to use for a particular course. And there's been a lot of consternation between higher ed about early childhood education all along. So just a heads up on that the ECE group is going to have to determine what is acceptable, because it doesn't jive with anything else we've ever had on the books.
With that, that's all of my report.
All right. Cool. Well, we have 3 items that we can talk about up here. The first one only concerns two of us. So that's the NMSBA Annual Conference Report. You've talked about that a little bit tonight already, but do you have any more for us, Ms.
Yes,
Kirk?
I do. I am going to take up many hours in reading my report. Actually, I want to start off with thanking, appreciating our outgoing board members, Dr. Kathleen Pittman and Ruben Sanchez, for holding office and doing this tough job. I really appreciate what y'all have done and brought to the table. And I also want to thank our incoming board members for running and their successful election. And I wish you luck for the next 4 years. We were lucky to have them join us at our NMSBA conference, so thank you. December 5th through the 7th, the NMSBA School Board Annual Convention theme was Leading the Way, Meeting the Challenge. In the state of New Mexico, we have a total of 450 school board seats, and of those, 255 were up for re-election. And of those 255, we had 126 first-time board members. All new board members are required to do new board training, which are 3 goals to help new board members become acquainted with roles and responsibility of board service. And the first goal is to have each new board member understand the key work of school boards. Second, to assist all new boards throughout their first year of service. And the third goal is personalized support and consultation. Out of the 126, we had 110 attend the first session, and 2 of them are sitting here in our audience. December the 5th at 3 p.m., we had our Board of Directors meeting and discussed our legislative priorities and then voted on them during our delegates' assembly. Policy Service, Dr. Don Williams is one of the school boards, which is one of the school board's jobs now, has 71 districts. We now have 71 districts applying for our Policy Service out of the 89. We're close. Our goal is all 89 districts. So also the new training was 4 sessions. The first topic was an overview. This is the first time ever we've had new board member training. We've never had this before, and like Dr. McElroy was saying, it's through the CES group, and they've got, the first session was January, our second session will be in January 22nd, and that topic will be board superintendent relations. Our third session will be May 28th at our school law conference in Albuquerque, and the subject will be budget and finance. Our fourth session will be in July 9th in Taos at our leadership retreat, and the topic will be strategic planning. So we were requiring all board members to come to each of those trainings and complete that. 2019-20 standard-based, one of our other Board of Directors meeting items was our 2019-2020 standard-based awards from PSCOC, and Mountain View statewide ranking is 3rd on the list, and Washington Avenue is 12. So we've got 2 schools, well, 10 is usually the cutoff, right, Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Okay, so Washington Avenue is close behind. So we also have our 2020 calendar of events for our NMSBA conferences, and that was in our packet, so I encourage new board members to look at that and our conference dates and meeting dates, because we do have our regional meeting dates. So that's in your packet, and Miss Julie, I'll give you a copy of that so you can email it to each of the board members or have a copy for us. Then additionally, at the training, let's see, where was I? Okay, so our calendar of events, and then last item on the agenda was a presentation, like Dr. McElroy said, from Karen Bob Roth, Deputy Secretary of Equity, Identity, and Transformation. She presented the information from the New Mexico Public Education Department Equity Team and what is required of school districts with an implementation calendar for 2019-2020. And that was met with some enthusiasm, as well as I'm sure yours was from your superintendents. And then lastly, the last training was the new school board members training. ESC has, well, actually, the last thing I did then, my last day at this conference was, like our new school board training, CES has developed an aspiring superintendent's training. And the board of directors were asked to serve on committees to give the trainees the opportunity to participate in a mock interview with feedback. And that was the first time I'd ever participated in the mock interviews, which was great. I loved the process. So I participated as the interviewer, which I really enjoyed. One, it gave me the opportunity to meet aspiring superintendents, which I knew 3 of the 4 that were there. 3 of them have worked for RISD. But I didn't interview any of those. I had an anonymous person. He was from Clovis. So the second thing of the experience, I gleaned and shared some very important information with my candidate. And the first and foremost, I told my candidate that in this digital savvy, technology-driven world, nothing is ever private, and it's out there forever. So be careful what you say, what you post, or what you allude to, because it will be interpreted or translated in the court of public opinion. And that is absolutely not what you want to do for yourself or your district. In fact, it could be the determining factor in whether you get that desired position. It could come back to haunt you. So I caution each candidate that I interview, tread lightly and with caution. And then lastly, the sessions I attended were the Yazzie Martinez, Your Role in Transforming Education, and second, New Mexico School Spotlight Dashboard. That's our new process that we're going to have all of our data uploaded to, and it's taking the place of the school report card. And then the last thing was what's the board got to do with it? And it was an excellent conference. I conclude.
All right.
Yep. It was a good one, too.
Would you like to present for our outgoing board members?
I would. It has been a great privilege to get to work with both of you the last year and a half. Hasn't always been pretty, but you guys have made my life better. I've learned from you. I've learned how to throw your whole heart into something. I've seen that modeled in the way that you have conducted yourselves as board members, as community members, and I just appreciate so much that your agenda was for kids, and that was it. And it was so readily apparent in your decision-making, in our disagreements, in our agreements. It was readily apparent. And I just want to thank you so much for your service to the kids of this community. You have made this a better community because of that service and by your example. And so just as a small token of our appreciation, we would like to present to you a crystal clock. We wanted something, plaques, nobody likes plaques. And this is something you can put on your desk and remember, but it's Dr. Kathleen Pittman, RSD Board of Education, in your years of service, and then Reuben, yours has the same, only it says Reuben. Same.
It doesn't
Just
say
so
Dr.
just
Kathleen
clarify that. But,
Thank
you know,
you.
just, we do, so this is not an easy job. And it's, you know, nobody, I will tell you that my husband ran for the school board one time and lost by 1 vote, thank God. And yeah, that's because my parents were both in the hospital in Lubbock, and thank goodness they couldn't vote. So, but, you know, it is a thankless task. You are criticized for things that are beyond your control. You cannot respond when people say ugly things and make accusations. You can't respond, and you sit there with a smile on your face and know in your heart that you've made the right decision for the right reasons. And it's not always a popular decision. And so I thank you for that. I hope you don't have PTSD following your board service. If you do, we have trauma counselors available to you. But I wanted to present these to you.
Thank you so much.
And
That's
thank you
so
so
sweet.
much for the last year and a half.
Thank you so much. That's very nice. Very pretty, too.
So this is a weird situation, because I wanted you guys to be able to say something, but I didn't know when. So Reuben said he wanted to finish it out, and I think it'd be good if you went right before Reuben.
That's fine.
Okay. James, did you have anything you wanted to say tonight? Even Merry Christmas, or?
It's been a pleasure to serve with you folks. If you're looking for a board spot, we got someone on our Roswell Youth Football. We take volunteers, and you know, Reuben did step up and volunteer this year to coach a team when a lot of other people bailed out, and you know, that speaks a lot to where a person's heart is when they step up to coach a bunch of kids that he doesn't even know, and he's got his own kids out there. So I commend Dr. Pittman and Reuben for their time on the board. And I know where your hearts are. You know, like I said, I have an open invitation for either one of y'all. If you want to join my board, hey, that's a tough.
Hey, let
rough
Kathleen
crowd.
coach.
Uh,
Roll Tide.
But to the people, you know,
Don't
to the
mention
people
Roll
that
Tide.
to the people that showed up today, you know, we're truly blessed to live in America and to live in Roswell, New Mexico. I represent Roswell no matter where I go.
Yeah.
Whether there's been good times or bad times, I'm still going to be from Roswell. And I'm going to be from the east side, and I'm going to represent my people. And when I say my people, I'm talking about all people. Doesn't matter whether you're from the north, south, east, or west, I'm going to represent my people. And I think we need to sometimes be a little bit more humble and be thankful for what we've got and where we're going. You know, I've had a few conversations with Coach Lynn, and one of the things I asked him tonight is, I said, hey, how did you get these kids to stick it out? Because I had a couple of his players that were on my team, and they'd lasted a couple of days. And I saw him out here today, and he said it was hard work. But that work that he put in, it was worth it to those kids and to those parents. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and, you know, be safe out there. And that's pretty much all I've got to say.
Cool. Well, nobody else is really paying attention to this. So, first of all, Reuben, I enjoyed getting to know you so much. I am going to miss being able to see you and go, well, how do you think our Steelers are going to do this week? And Kathleen, I've enjoyed getting to know you so much, getting to ride with you in a long car ride to an unfortunate event, but was still fun. It was still fun.
Yes.
And I enjoyed our conversations. And to Hope and Hilda, the best part of last weekend was getting to know you both. Getting to learn a little bit more about you. Hilda, I'm so excited to learn more about you. And Hope, I told Tamara, I said, Hope and you are a little bit alike. I said, we went in to eat lunch, and she said, I don't eat bright food. And I went, I know what that means. And so it was great to get to know you guys, and I'm excited that we're going to get to work. I'm going to miss these guys, because when you serve on a board like this, you get to know people, and you get to see each other at conferences, and you kind of get to know somebody. And I always used to say, you know somebody's heart when you pray with them. I think you kind of know somebody's heart a little bit when you serve on a board with them too.
It's true.
And
pray with them too.
And pray with them.
Same time.
So I'm excited. It's gonna be good. And then board members, I'm asking for your permission to send out a letter from the board for Christmas time, like we did last year.
That's good.
And I will send it to you guys ahead of time before I send it out. So if you guys don't like what I wrote, you can say you stink. And so we'll send that out to everybody in the district, because I don't think saying Merry Christmas at a board meeting with 20 people and probably 3 people asleep watching online is appropriate for what we really want to say to our teachers and our staff here at Roswell Independent School District. Finally, I would like to just allow Kathleen and allow Ruben to say some things, and then after that we'll adjourn.
Okay. It's been a blast. Some of that was a bad blast, but most of it was a good blast, especially getting to be in all the schools and seeing what amazing things are going on in the Roswell Independent School District. It's been a joy to work with Ann Lynn and Susan Sanchez and this board. We've had our differences of opinion, but that's healthy, because if we all thought the same thing, then we wouldn't have very many ideas coming around. So I wish the very best for the new board members. I've known Hope for a few days, and Hilda too. And I know they're going to have a real impact on this district, and that's a good thing. People were worried about me because I didn't get reelected. Oh, boo-hoo. I said, thank you, God, because I know what it's like. I've had 2.5 years on the board, or 2 years and some months, and I've had my turn, and I'm grateful for the privilege and honor of serving this community. Many of the employees of RISD were my own students, and I love them very much. They're great folks. I see them every time we have kids come out. So it's been great, and I appreciate y'all's love and support, and I just wish the very best. Thank you.
So I think when it comes to these situations, I think we all kind of sit back and kind of ask ourselves, what am I going to say, right? Been on this board for 5 years, and what do you say to people? How do you sum up 5 years of service and sacrifice, is what I like to say, and building teams, and no, 5. So what do you say? And I could go in and start to thank everybody like I normally do at every board meeting, but I really kind of sat back and thought about it, and I said, there's this one saying or motivational speech that always comes up, and I always found myself gravitating back to it. When I had a bad day, or bad days, or bad weeks, or just needed a reality check on, counting my blessings and looking at the big picture, I always counted or saw myself going back to the speech. And don't ask me why, but it's Mr. Matthew McConaughey. He has a speech that I don't know why, but it just rocked me to my core when I heard it. I had listened to it, it gave me chills. I listened to it again, and it gave me chills. Then I had a bad week a few months later, then I'm going to listen to that, and it gave me chills again. So I think what I can do is, what that does for me is I can share it with you guys, and hopefully that sticks with you. And maybe you can even look it up. Feel free to go to my Facebook page. Go down a couple years because it's pretty old, and listen to it. And it's just one of those speeches that just motivates you and brings you back down to earth and lets you know that there is a God somewhere. So I want to read it to you. I'm going to talk to you about some things I've learned on my journey, most from experience. Some of them I've heard in passing. Many of them I'm still practicing, but all of them I do believe are true. Life is not easy. It is not. Don't try to make it that way. Life's not fair. It never was. It isn't now. It never will be. Do not fall into the trap, into the entitlement trap of feeling like you're a victim. You are not. Get over it and get on with it. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what success is to us? What success is to you? Is it money? That's fine. I've got nothing against money. Maybe it's a healthy family. Maybe it's a happy marriage. Maybe it's to help others, to be famous, to be spiritually sound, to leave the world a little better place than you found it. Continue to ask yourself that question. Now, your answer may change over time, and that's fine. But do yourself this favor. Whatever your answer is, don't choose anything that will jeopardize your soul. Prioritize who you are, who you want to be, and don't spend time with anything that antagonizes your character. Be brave, take the hill, but first ask yourself this question: what's my hill? So first, we have to define success for ourselves, and then we have to put in the work to maintain it. Make that daily tally, tend to our garden, keep the things that are important to us in good shape. Where you are not is as important as where you are. It is just as important where we are not as it is where we are. Look, the first step that leads to our identity in life is usually not, I know who I am, I know who I am. That's not the first step. The first step is usually, I know who I am not. Process of elimination. Defining ourselves by what we are not is the first step that leads us to really knowing who we are. You know that group of friends that you hang out with that might not bring out the best in you? You know, they gossip too much, or they're kind of shady. They're really not going to be there for you in a pinch. Or how about that computer screen, right? Or that computer screen or that phone that gives us an excuse not to get out of the house and engage with the world and get some real human interaction. Or how about that food we keep eating? That stuff that tastes so good going down, but makes us feel like crap the next week and we start feeling lethargic. Well, those people, those places, those things, stop giving them your time and energy. Just don't go there. Just put them down. And when you do this, and when you do put them down, and when you quit going there, and when you quit giving them your time, you inadvertently find yourself spending more time and in more places that are healthy for you, that bring you joy. Why? Because you just eliminated the who's, the where's, the what's, the when's that were keeping you from your identity. Look, trust me, too many options. I promise you, too many options will make a tyrant of us all. So get rid of the access, the wasted time. Sometimes if you decrease your options, and if you do this, you'll have accidentally, almost innocently, put in front of you what is important to you by process of elimination. Knowing who we are is hard. It's hard. Give yourself a break. Eliminate who you are not first, and you're going to find yourself where you need to be. Instead of creating outcomes that take from us, let's create outcomes that pay us back. Fill us up. Keep your fire lit. Turn you on for the most amount of time in your future. We try our best. We don't always do our best. Architecture is a verb as well. And since we are the architects of our own lives, let's study the habits, the practices, the routines that we have that lead to and feed our success, our joy, our honest pain, our laughter, our earned tears. Let's dissect that and give thanks for those things. And we do that, and when we do that, guess what happens? We get better at them, and we have more to dissect. Be discerning. Choose it because you want it. Do it because you want to. We're going to make mistakes. We've got to own them. Then we've got to make amends, and then we've got to move on. Guilt and regret kills many a man before their time. So turn the page, get off the ride. You are the author of the book of your life. With that, I'd also like to leave you guys with a quote, but always sticks with me too, and it's from our late President Ronald Reagan. And he stated, "There's no limit to the amount of good you can do if you don't care who gets the credit." And finally, a quote from Confucius. If your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant a tree. If your plan is for 100 years, educate children. So I really want to thank everybody. I want to thank the board. I want to thank you guys for your time, your energy, your efforts, my family, everybody that had a role in keeping this old boy going the past 5 years, because as we've said, it's tough. It's tough. We've had some great times. We've had some battles. We've knocked our heads against each other sometimes, but at the end of the day, guys, we do it all for our kids. At the end of the day, that's what this position is for the veteran and children. Right. So I'll continue to do that. And thank you guys, and God bless every one of you. And to our new board members, keep fighting the fight. Do not give up. Keep going. Thank you.
All right, well, this is the end of the agenda. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
May I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion made by Ms. Kirk, a second made by Mr. Edwards. May I have a roll call, please?
Getty?
Yes.
Yes.
Kathleen Pittman?
Yes.
Rhonda Kirk?
Yes.
James Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, adjourn.